So today we're going to be talking about a horror thriller film called theruleofjennypen, which will be coming to Shudder on March 28th, and it now has a limited theater run. Hey everyone, my name is Ryan. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Whether you're new or where you're returning to the channel, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new though, definitely hit that subscribe button. Give the video a like as well. It definitely helps out the channel, and also comment if you have seen this film. Now this was directed by James Ashcroft, and this is his actual second film, which I've never seen his first film. It stars Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow. Now what is this film actually about? Well, it's about a judge played by Geoffrey Rush in which he gets a stroke and he is admitted to assistant facility in which he is there trying to get rehabilitated, and he believes he shouldn't be there. Now his character in this film, he is an absolute jerk. He is rude to the staff. He's not a likable character by any means, and when he's there, he is just giving the staff hell. He says he should leave. It is absolutely crazy how he actually acts. And then John Lithgow, he is in this facility as well, and he terrorizes all the different residents. He has this puppet in which that is Jenny Pen is what he refers to. And this puppet, it's a baby and it has these eyes that are cut out. And he just walks around and he's just terrorizing all these different residents. He goes into their rooms and actually he makes these people actually worship this baby doll, and he threatens them as well throughout this film. Now, I will say with this film, I have been in assistant facilities before where these type of places, they're very depressing, and this movie, the message that I got from it is getting old really sucks, which is a message that we've heard plenty of times before. And with that message, I do think that they capture that kind of setting throughout this film. A lot of times throughout this film, you have the residents just sitting at a table, eating lunch, interacting with each other, interacting in the rooms, which actually two people have to share a room and they just have like a little curtain, which is kind of a rarity. I mean, I guess there's some facilities where they actually have that, but being in different ones before, because my mom has worked in a lot of facilities like that, most of the time they usually have private rooms, but they all vary. So I thought that was a very interesting thing here. The score here, it has some creepy little elements here and there, but I will say that this really isn't really a horror movie, and that's one thing that I have to say when it comes to a negative here, is I just think that these movies that market themselves as a horror movie, I just don't understand why. That definitely takes me back to The Front Room last year, where that marketed as a horror film and it wasn't as well. And I have a problem with that, really, with these films just marketing themselves as a horror film, because it's kind of weird that this is going to be on Shudder, because I feel like it's a film, I mean, it has like little creepy elements, and John Lithgow, I think like his performance as this psychomaniac in a assisted facility here, I do believe that he plays the character pretty well, but at the same time, like, there's a lot of repetitive parts in this film where he's kind of doing the same thing or going through the same kind of motions throughout this entirety of this film. The film isn't long, it's 90 minutes, but it's also a short story, and that's kind of another negative as well, because a lot of these horror films that are coming out, they are adapted from short stories, and with the exception of like a movie like Smile, a lot of these films just aren't really capitalizing on good writing and making like a story that you really care about. And that's like my main problem with this film, is it really just overruns its runtime. 90 minutes is way too long for what this story actually is. Maybe like this could be done in like 60 to like 70 minutes tops, mainly because there's just not a lot of meat on the bones to the story. There's not a lot of substance. A lot of this just really is unexplained. I mean, really, like, why does John Lithgow throughout this film have all these residents really worshiping him, other than the fact that he is a psycho and he acts really weird and he has like these split personalities? I get that aspect of the film, but like there's no like explanation. Like there's a portion in here where you have this doll and he actually flicks his wrist up and you lick his wrist to basically say that like you worship this Jenny Pen doll, so to speak. And I thought that was really awkward. It was very weird and kind of uncomfortable, which there are some uncomfortable scenes, I would say, in this film, but it just never really gets into the horror level. It's one of those films where it's has some pretty good acting. Like, I think Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow, they both have some pretty decent performances here, but there's nothing scary. I mean, like, probably the scariest thing in this film is both of these guys eventually get naked and have to take a shower, and you have to look bare butt at both these guys. Like, that's probably like the scariest thing about this film, which is just completely disappointing. As I was watching this film, I felt like I just was like having the wheels like spun for this film, because I just felt like there wasn't really a lot going on. I just felt like there were really repetitive scenes after repetitive scenes, and there's just so much like both these actors can actually do. Like, there's not really a ton for them to do with this story. And like I said, like, Geoffrey Rush, he's a very unlikable character. He gaslights a lot of the staff, cuts them off, doesn't even let them get a word in, and the staff doesn't even really believe him when he says that John Lithgow is coming into his room, and he's just completely just annoying him to no end, pretty much. And he's doing this to pretty much every resident. I would also say with this film, with it being kind of like that repetitive nature, it isn't like a comedy film by any means, but there are certain parts where it kind of made me laugh. There is this one resident that actually wears sunglasses, and in his wheelchair, he actually has the time actually said on his wheelchair. And there's a joke where it's like, why do you need the time? Like, where are you going? And I thought that was kind of funny because, yeah, like, you're there at that nursing home. Why do you really need the time? Like, time isn't of essence, so to speak, when you're just kind of sitting around at a nursing home. So on that front, like, little comedy bits like that, made me chuckle a little bit. I really struggled to just get through the film as a whole, and really, like, the payoff for this film, kind of when it just wrapped up, I was like, that's it? That was it? And just was really disappointed by the time the film just kind of wrapped up. It just felt a little bit too easy how they really wrapped up the film, but at the same time, like, I understood like they had to have some type of solution to what was really going on. So on that front, like, I understand, but at the same time, like, it was kind of disappointing. And I just felt like as this film was going along, like, it was really testing my patience to really keeping my attention overall, and I really just didn't like the film. And I can see people really like giving this like maybe like a 3 because of like the acting, and like maybe it kept their attention, or like they really liked the nursing home type of deal. But for me, like, I just didn't like this. I just felt like story-wise, it was really flat. There was no horror, like I said, and it just felt like a story that just really overstretched its short story with not very good writing and not really much to really just grasp onto to really just love what was really going on and really be captivated by what was going on. So as far as the score for me, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give it a 1 out of 5. I hated it, unfortunately, and it wasn't a film for me overall. Shudder has been struggling. This is their 4th original this year, and we are 1 for 4. So I hope Shudder steps up their game. I want to hear from you guys, though. What did you guys think of this film? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? And if you have not checked it out yet, are you going to check it out when it comes to Shudder? Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time.